Mac. 18 minutes left on the show, and we will talk about Jalen Carter, the other first-round pick in the same year. John, when's the deal coming? I've seen reports they're working on the deal. I've seen some people question whether they want to give the deal. Where are you on Jalen Carter? What do you know? What are your sources telling you on the latest on the Jalen Carter potential contract extension, fresh on the heels of a massive deal for Jordan Davis?
Yeah, I mean, they want to get it done, but I'm sure from the Eagles' perspective, they want to get it done at the most cost-effective rate possible. And I'm sure from Drew Rosenhaus's perspective, they want to break the bank and become the Micah Parsons of interior defensive linemen. So that's the positions. And, if he agreed to a more Jordan Davis-like deal bumped up for a 3 technique, I think it would already be done. But I think he wants, super money to just explode the market, and then it becomes more problematic. And if, there's no time necessity. So I know people are obsessed on when's it going to be? When's it? You use the 50-year option as a placeholder. You're obviously going to pick that up, but you don't want them to play under that because $27 million all on the cap in 1 year is the worst case scenario for both sides because it's not enough money for Jalen Carter, and it's way too much on the cap for the Eagles. So you got to work out something, but that time is not of the essence. And remember, Jordan Davis was drafted in 2022. They picked up his 50-year option, played the whole season, and he proved a lot of things, and he got his big deal. Well, who's to say the same thing can't happen for Jalen Carter? Like, I think,
is it a smart way to go? Because if Jalen Carter does bounce back and have a big year this year, well, John, you're probably looking at 40 million, 35 million, 36 million, 38 million, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, but you can't force the other side to say, take the deal now. They might want to prove it.
So you think if the Eagles offer Jalen Carter right now a 4-year deal for $132 million, which is $33 million a year.
Yeah, I don't think he takes that.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. $33 million? You don't think that gets it done right now?
Where's Chris Jones?
Let's look it up where Chris Jones is. Five-year 158. So he got 31.75.
Got to start 160.
But that's a 5-year deal. I don't gotta give.
Oh, you can knock it down. You can knock it down to 4 years, whatever. You got to get
31.75 is the average, and it was $95 million in total guarantees, with $60 million guaranteed at signing.
Yeah, and I think that's way too low. I got to look at Chris Jones' contract, but I believe he's number one. He might not be. Whoever number one is,
I'm pretty sure he's number one.
Whoever number
158.75 million, average annual is 31.75. The signing bonus was 30 million. Guaranteed at signing was 60 million, and the total guarantees were 95 million for Chris Jones.
I think he wants to Micah Parsons the defensive tackle position. Like I don't think he's accepting 32, 33.
Well, he should know he hasn't played to that level yet. I think he has the potential to play to it, but I think Jalen Carter, if he gave him the truth serum, he would admit it, and so would Drew Rosenhaus.
Oh, he's coming off I say it all the time. He's coming on now. A lot of it was injury related, but he's coming off a bad year. But that's not how contracts work. Contracts similar to what we're talking about with trades. It's leverage. He's got the leverage. And he doesn't have as much leverage as he would have if he were coming off a good season. If he had a similar season to 2024, where then he would have had massive leverage. And maybe it comes down to that. Maybe he's healthy. You know, he keeps publishing some of these videos. I don't think it's him, but whoever from his team keeps, you know, where he's lifting weights and, you know, kind of Ben Simmons-ish, but even so, it proves that he's healthier. And if he comes back and he has a big season and bets on himself, again, that's what I think. I don't know how many times I've said it, but I've said it a bunch. People think this is so one-sided. Well, the Eagles want to get it done, so get it done. The other side has a say in it. And
yeah, but dude, if you're offered 32 million, 33 million, and you haven't played your best football, I mean, you got to think there's some real value to them taking that deal. No, I mean, it is a gamble to say, no, I want more.
There's value to take, you know, Milton Williams' deal or Jordan Davis.
I know, but you got to get there. You know, if Jalen Carter is any, maybe he doesn't. But I mean, you know, if you're his agent and you're like, dude, you do have shoulders. You know, you have played a lot of football. There's no guarantee you go out there and dominate. Now, I know they don't think like that, but I'm sure the agent has that type of thought process, at least to some extent, whether they give into it or not.
Well, I think Drew's history is pretty clear. He's going to go for as much as he can get.
All right. Well, he better hope that Jalen Carter has a good year. Because what if Jalen Carter has a similar year to last year? Then what's he getting?
Well, then you bet on yourself and lose. You still got, I can't imagine him not getting significant money. So you're talking about, let's say 33 versus 35 or 36 or 37 or even 40, which is, I think, where they want to go.
Oh,
and they probably can't. But, you know, and if you bet on yourself and you lose, you know, you're still going to be at 25. I would think.
Yeah, Jordan Davis just got 26. If he bets on himself and loses, he's probably still cracking 30 million.
Well, exactly. So, you know, and I lowballed it for that reason.
Right. So I guess you're right. I mean, if that's the low, then shit, why not just try and get the 40?
And I don't know if that's what they want, but I just want to emphasize it's not a one-way street. It's not like the Eagles are saying, "Oh, let's do it." You know, there's a back and forth, and you know, this is a player who could and will set the market. It's just a matter of, and does he deserve to set the market? Not by pure meritocracy. He's not the best defensive tackle in football, but that's how contracts work. He's the
but there's a difference in setting the market, John, and Micah Parsonsing the market. Those are two different things.
Well, I agree, and I wouldn't let him do that personally because he hasn't proven that. But I think that's their feeling.
Well, what is your feeling? Give me your opinion. I mean, would you go on Carter?
I'd kick the can down the road. I've said it pretty consistently. He did not play well last year.
Right. But so with that being said, I mean, let's say he has a great year.
Well, then you're happy to pay him.
Would you though? Because you've also floated out the scenario where you're like, well, what's a better team? You know, paying Jalen and Jordan or getting 2 first-round picks back with Moro Ajomo and Jordan. You floated that out there. Now, I'm not saying that's what you said you would do, but it is a fair.
Well, I think it's a fair conversation to have. If you can get 2 first, like I don't think they could get 2 first-round picks for him. But if he goes in and has an all-pro season and they can get that, and Moro has another good season, I would seriously consider that.
You think Howie would?
Boy, 2 first-round picks. Maybe. I mean,
in the same breath, didn't you kind of rip Jerry Jones for doing that? I mean, maybe that was his thought process with Micah.
I don't. I ripped Jerry Jones because I think a hell of a lot of Micah Parsons as a player.
Well, you can think a hell of a lot of Jalen Carter as a player and still think the better move for your team is 2 first-round picks and Moro Ajomo and Jordan Davis. You know, it doesn't mean you don't think highly of Carter.
Well, no, I'm just saying I wouldn't have traded Micah Parsons no matter what. I would have worked out. And by the way, completely different situations from the standpoint. There were plenty of times Jerry Jones had the opportunity to get that deal done. He
Yeah,
didn't do it.
that's
He dragged his feet. He just has a bullshit way of operating.
yeah, I agree with that.
This in this instance would be different from the standpoint of, Howie's obviously trying to get it done. Question is, can you get it done? And maybe it's as simple as, hey, Chris Jones is I thought he was I thought he was 35 for some reason. And he's only 31.75. Maybe it's as simple as going to 33 or 34. And they get it done. But, I just want to emphasize pretty clearly, it's a two-way street. It's not just one way.
Yeah, which I do think is a point. A lot of people miss on that, when they're talking about these contracts. It is two-way.
Yeah, it's not like they just walk into the office today and say, all right, today's the day. I mean, you're dealing with agents and players and their wants and needs. But I thought it was very, at Jordan Davis's press conference, it was very performative that Jalen Carter was there and they were making a big point of it. And they're clearly trying to get something done.
Give me your John. If I put you on the spot and made you pick, do you think they'll pay him this year or next year?
Well, they're trying to pay him this year. So if they don't, it's because he wanted to wait. It's because of the player side. So, and that can have a bunch of reasons. Like, a lot of guys got to take care of their families. Do they need the money now? Can they afford to wait? I don't know those types of situations, but either way, he's going to make a lot of money. But he is coming off a bad season from his standard. And if he goes back to being an all-pro next season, as is the hope, it's only going